Hello, hello! Guess who's angry? It's me, all the time, and not just because of the horrific state of my fringe. I don't know what it's doing, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. No, today specifically, it's because of something I saw on TikTok. Obviously. TikTok is interesting because everything I see on there is either the most perfectly targeted content that I love, or it's someone saying something so outlandish and ignorant that it makes me want to explode. And somehow what we're talking about today is both. So I saw this video of a creator called Joey headcanoning Wednesday Addams from the new Netflix series as autistic. I thought, what a fun, cute, harmless little video. Let me check the comments. Maybe people are talking about some of her traits or other characters that they headcanon. No, no, what I saw was pure neurotypical rage, and that's the only way I can think to describe it. People were genuinely upset, and I was shocked. Leave Wednesday alone, respectfully. These new Addams fans, bro. These new fans, if you weren't there for the original 1938 comic, fake fan. Why do people love titles and labels? Are you for real? This person said, did Tim Burton say that? Didn't think so. Firstly, he didn't create the character. Did he even write it? No, he didn't write it. He didn't create it. He's one of like many producers. Quite a few people were saying chronically online. Sure. Why? You do know that autistic people exist offline, right? They are real. I kind of like the people who just keep saying she's just a day of the week. She's the fourth day of the week. She can't be autistic. There was a lot of comparison to Eddie Munson and Stranger Things fans. Someone said Stranger Things fan base moving over to Wednesday. I mean, I guess I can see it because there was a lot of love for that character to an interesting degree, but this isn't anything like what people did. This is just someone liking a character and identifying with them, right? Someone said, does it really matter? And the answer to that is no, which is why I'm surprised that so many people felt the need to comment their concern. Bro, bye, when she say that? She didn't have to. This is interesting because someone said Wednesday is meant to be weird. What is one of the things that neurotypicals call autistic people? Let's think. You guys be calling autistic people weird all the time, you know that, right? Someone said this is actually so sad. Why is that sad? People are like really upset, they're acting sad, they're acting angry, they're like, no, she's not, don't do this. And I like this person, Cassidy, who commented, people in the comments are acting like Riley and Maya in that one episode of Girl Meets World. Which is the most accurate thing.
They want to see if I have autism. You don't.
Let's go tell them now.
There was a lot of people saying like Wednesday is Wednesday, or that's just her character. Someone can be themselves and be autistic at the same time. It's not like someone says you're autistic and then it is so. One day I didn't wake up from my neurotypical slumber, open my eyes and think, oh shit, I have difficulty with emotional regulation now. Anyway, there was a lot of the comments that were saying be for real, so let's get real. In case you couldn't tell by the fact that I made a video about capybaras, I am autistic, so I'm somewhat acquainted with the disorder. Wednesday shows a lot of traits. The creator themselves actually posted a follow-up listing them because of the insane response that they got from this video. She has irregular eye contact patterns, can't read social cues, wears similar clothes and hairstyles all the time, and struggles to connect with or express her own emotions. She's also very passionate about writing, so this could potentially be her special interest or just her way of dealing with her emotions, since it's implied that her novel is pretty autobiographical and influenced by what's going on around her. But she's not the only one with autistic traits. A lot of TV characters are written in a way that makes them autistic coded, meaning the character's not mentioned to be autistic, nor are they necessarily written to be, but they show so many autistic traits that if they were a real person, they would be diagnosed as autistic. I see this most in cartoons or sitcoms where unintentional autistic traits are used for the purpose of learning or comedy. Poor communication, misinterpreting tone, and what can appear as strange behavior for realistic people are used as comedic devices, which is actually pretty sad because it shows the overall neurotypical misunderstanding of autistic people and how our struggles and differences are often mocked. If these were real people, they'd be mercilessly bullied, so surely realistics hate these characters. Actually, it's usually the opposite. When fictional and not explicitly autistic, people love how quirky and endearing these characters are, as they should, But as soon as the word autism is mentioned, suddenly that ruins the character, because autism isn't a good thing. It's a disorder. It's a problem. That's basically like headcanoning someone to have brain cancer. That was an actual response to the Wednesday TikTok, which I found pretty heartbreaking, to be honest. That someone thinks that being autistic is a tragedy. My mere existence is equivalent to someone with a fatal disease. What the fuck, dude? We just vibing. It's not a disease. There isn't a cure, despite what fucking Autism Speaks is trying to push. If everyone was autistic, everything would be fine, because that would be the norm and that would be who society was made for. Even the poor communication, which is a diagnostic criteria, only exists between autistic and non-autistic people. In studies, it's shown that autistic people communicate better with each other than all neurotypical people. It's only when you mix them together is there issues, because our brains just work in different ways. And that's okay, as long as everyone makes the effort to understand each other and accommodate these differences. But they don't, and that's why so many autistic people struggle to live normal lives. I actually found another TikTok talking about this relationship that allistic people have with autistic characters. Oh, sorry, not that one. I don't know how that got in there. That's literally a video of me as a baby.
Watch the reaction of allistic people when autistic people say we headcanon a character as autistic. Everyone loves how quirky and socially awkward Jessica Day is in New Girl, but the second that the autism community points out that Jessica Day meets the DSM-5 criteria for diagnosing autism, everyone loses their minds. Because allistic people find these characters enjoyable and compelling. They laugh at them and they can relate to them. Allistic people don't want to admit that they relate to an autistic person, because that puts them in proximity to autism in a way that they are extremely uncomfortable with.
Another common complaint on the Wednesday TikTok was the need to push labels onto her, and to that I would say, firstly, it's a headcanon of a fictional character. The way someone imagines a person who isn't real is definitely not hurting anyone. Art is meant to be subjective, so people can interpret it as they please. But secondly, maybe people wouldn't bring up so many of their autistic headcanons if there was actually decent autistic representation to begin with. There are several attempts at portraying autistic characters, but these are often wildly inaccurate due to them relying on overplayed stereotypes such as lack of empathy, which isn't the case for many autistic people, as an equally likely trait is hyper-empathy. But that's never shown, and the way this lack of empathy trait is often reflects negatively on the autistic community, because it makes us seem like we can't learn or improve or connect with people. When we can, it's often just in different ways. Another reason for this inaccuracy is that most of these characters are portrayed and written by people who are not autistic and don't have a very good understanding of what it means. They're shown to be super smart and interested in trains or science, but believe it or not, autistic people are humans. We're all different. Not to mention, the characters are pretty much always straight white cis men, which is bad representation generally, but also feeds into the underdiagnosis of women and people of colour. The notable exceptions to this are Abed Nadir from Community and Lise Naceda from the Owl House, both of whom I love, but even in the latter, Luce being autistic is never explicitly stated in the show. Also, Community uses Asperger's syndrome when talking about Abed, which I wanted to address isn't a term that should be used, neither should high or low functioning, since these names and ideals came from Nazi eugenics. So let's not say that. Now that we've established why many characters are autistic coded, let's look at some examples that I headcanon. Dwight Schrute from The Office misunderstands tone and social cues, takes things literally, special interests in farming and paper sales, sees things in black and white, and highly respects authority and rules. Ice Bear from We Bare Bears, monotone voice, semi-mute, lack of facial expressions, difficulty communicating emotions, special interest in cooking. Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, monotone voice, inexpressive face, likes routine, strong sense of justice, hyperlexic as a child and took things literally, sensory avoider in taste and colour, overly formal. Charles Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, special interest in cooking, sometimes misreads social cues, hyper expressive, often overshares, very loyal, and sensory seeking in food. Actually, the majority of Brooklyn Nine-Nine characters read as autistic, and I love it. Personally, I also had canon Amy and Rosa. Dina Fox from Superstore, strong sense of justice, adheres strictly to rules, special interest in birds or security, very direct speech, and struggles with small talk. Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony, likes routine, dislikes sudden changes, indecisive, severe anxiety, especially socially, strictly follows rules, difficulty making friends, special interest in magic, and shown to stim when nervous. Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony, hyper-expressive and potentially hyper-empathetic, special interest in party planning, volume control issues, sometimes misreads social cues, impulsively makes decisions and forgets to communicate. Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec, strong sense of justice, special interest in politics, public service and feminism, and often info dumps about these, volume control issues, sometimes misreads social cues, very expressive and affectionate friend. Phoebe Buffet from Friends, misreads social cues, often overshares, seen as odd, difficulty empathizing with others, and can't engage in small talk. Entraptor from She-Ra, special interest in technology, info dumps a lot about this and can't focus on anything else, prefers specific foods, difficulty connecting with others and making friends. Chidi Anigonye from The Good Place, incredibly indecisive, special interest in ethics, and an inability to create hierarchy of concerns and differentiate what is significant. Star from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, takes everything literally, misreads social cues and tone, difficulty focusing on things she's not interested in, and she's very impulsive. I could go on for days probably, but I think you get the point. In case you couldn't tell, one of my autistic traits is over-explaining. Anyway, this shows the wide range of personalities and interests autistic characters can have, and how autistic representation is actually better when it's unintentional. Going back to my original point, Wednesday Addams is 100% autistic coded, and lots of people picked up on that. I hope holistic people can learn that being autistic isn't a bad thing, and you can relate to an autistic person even if you're not, because we're all human. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, maybe you just want me to shut up. Either way, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, morning, night, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!